It's not moving. Maybe it's not even alive.
Customized radio made in Switzerland.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order a regular scheduled meeting of the Elk Grove Park District Board on October 24th, 2024. Francis, could I get a roll call, please?
President Walls?
Here.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Here.
Commissioner Carlson?
Here.
Commissioner Cook?
Here.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Here.
I have approval of minutes, September 26th, 2024, regular scheduled meeting, and October 2nd, 2024, Pavilion Committee meeting. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, hearing none opposed. Public communications, comments from the audience. Alan?
No.
It's not like you. Connie, Lori, Mr. or Mrs.? Come on up, Connie.
If I might not have to, I had surgery.
Take your, that's all right.
I would appreciate the fact that Mark did an audit for Marge, who could not attend tonight, and then shared it with the group. We would appreciate it if he would relook the audit because we felt that there were some significant items that had been overlooked in his work, and he was probably in a hurry. And it does not seem to reflect the expenses that are previously paid, going back to, I believe, the Phase 2 addition, and the expenses that have been incurred since then, and the projection of the expenses. So I would just appreciate if he has any questions from our person who took a look at it, as an auditor, we'd be very happy to share that with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Connie. We will look at that. Any correspondence from anybody? Hearing seeing none. Any comments by the commissioners? Hearing seeing none. Recommendations for acceptance approval. Approval of Athletics Advisory Board members. Is this me? I move that these individuals be appointed to serve a 2-year term as an advisory member to the following boards. Elk Grove Girls Softball Advisory Board, it would be Anthony Coletta, Matt Smith, Nicholas Frank, Tracy Manoni, Fawn Sparks, John Odo. And for the Elk Grove Youth Basketball Advisory Board, it would be Andrew Colon, Jerry Brandeis, Dave Thomas, Lisa Brandeis, Luis Urstegi, that's a good one, and Samantha Pusateri. I need a motion and a second.
So moved. Second, but I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So if these are 2-year terms, what happens, is this the entire board?
No.
No, it's not the entire board, but
Okay.
it is a large majority of the board.
Okay, so that in 2 years, like if there's, we'll have.
Yeah, they'll still have board members.
What happened a few years ago is we onboarded a lot of them at the same time, so they do have a lot of the same entrance and exit dates. But people come and go off the board every year.
Okay, so there's no concern. Okay, thank you.
Staying on that topic, get the roll call first though.
Yeah. Francis, can I get a roll call? I do have a motion and a second, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
President Wallace?
Yes. Bill?
Yeah, thank all of them for volunteering. You guys know that Dave is the executive director at Glen Ellen, so his plate is full. But resident Tim Burns did bring up a valid point that we have to do a better job of these sticking to their terms. Their terms do seem to be ending, and they're still acting like they're board members. And it kind of defeats the purpose that we go ahead and set a term. So have we have any kind of means to identify this better, that when a term ends, they no longer have the authority, or how's that rolling out?
It's a good question. The park code deals with that in the context of the election of commissioners, for example, and they provide that they shall serve their term or until their successors have been elected or appointed. So that if you got somebody staying on after the time, until somebody's elected or appointed in their place, they can continue to serve. That way, if you miss it, because you're not monitoring it real closely, they still legally serve until somebody replaces them.
But what if it's intentionally not gonna have an election then, so that this person can stay in place? Should there be a mechanism where every month then we are forcing them to have an election?
Haven't thought that one out before, but I think what my answer would be is, if that were to be a situation, it would be up to this park board to take action.
And that's what I think we should have a discussion on, that, you know, you just can't have a term roll without having an election as the first election after.
Or without substantial reason, right?
Yeah, if there's gonna be somebody that's gonna fill that role or wants to stay in the role, then have the election ASAP instead of just nonchalantly letting people stay on without having an actual, being appointed by us to extend their term. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Approval of pay request from WT Group Hoffman Estates, Illinois for the ADA Transition Plan Project in the amount of $16,062.50.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that? Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
President Wallace?
Yes. Approval of pay request for Dominion Lighting, Inc. of Elmhurst, Illinois for fitness center lighting upgrade project in the amount of $20,546.97.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Wallace?
Yes. Approval of payment application number 4 from Train USA, Inc. of Willowbrook, Illinois for the pavilion air handler replacement project in the amount of $5,580.
So moved.
Second.
Any questions or comments on that? Roll call, please.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
President Wallace.
Yes. Approval of payment application number 5 for Training USA of Willowbrook, Illinois for the PAC, Pavilion Aquatics Center Pool Heat Exchange Replacement Project in amount of $3,600.01.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Bianchi,
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson,
Yes.
Commissioner Cook,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
President Wallace.
Yes. Capital projects, Commissioner Cook.
Yes, we met tonight at Committee of the Whole, and discussed our 2025 capital projects, the recommendations for next year. The budget amount that's being recommended is $3,221,348. And then that will be approved at our final budget meeting in December. Some of the updates with our projects for this year, Marshall Park, we got the lights are coming and hopefully we'll be up for the soccer field. Pickleball, that's been approved and hopefully we're gonna start work on that in the near future, Mark said. Depending on the weather, they may get all the asphalt poured, but if not, hopefully at least the foundation for the concrete around there. Also at Mead Park, the baseball fences that we approved are, I guess, coming soon to be put up, and even though the season's over, we're gonna just make sure that they fit there right. So they might be up for, I don't know how long, but very short time, and then taken down until the season starts next year. So for those people living around Mead, if you see the fence go up, it's up there just to make sure it fits there, and then it'll be taken down until the next season starts. Also, from comments that we got from the residents around Mead Park, who had some concerns about the ice rink being in the middle of the field and it being lit later at night. We're gonna move that to the ice rink, inline hockey rink, which is further away from the homes and has its own lighting there for next year. Or for this winter, I should say. And that ends my report.
Thanks, Tom. Finance Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
Okay. The corporate fund, all expense categories are under budget except utilities. Year-to-date of $3,619,591 compared to a budget of $3,117,304. Recreation fund, fees and admissions, $2,381,491 compared to a budget of $2,294,324. Program fees were $1,991,814 compared to a budget of $2,149,297. All expense categories under budget except contractual, program contractual, and utilities. Year-to-date of $1,535,434 compared to a budget of $726,231. Said capital projects that have been budgeted in rec fund are affecting overall year-to-date numbers with $373,500 budgeted year-to-date, but only $106,864 spent year-to-date, contributing to a variance of $266,636 in actual versus budget. And Brad,
That's just capital projects that haven't been
Started.
executed yet.
The cardio renovation.
I think the majority of it is the cardio renovation,
Okay.
which is getting taken care of next month, I believe.
Yeah.
okay. The golf fund, 5,978 rounds played in September, which is pretty phenomenal, I think. 38,868 rounds year-to-date compared to 35,692 last year. Fees and admissions, $1,460,506 compared to $1,155,260. All expense categories are at or near budget. Driving range year-to-date of $170,941 compared to a budget of $108,363. Year-to-date of $681,081 compared to a budget of negative $6,776. Again, capital projects that have been budgeted in Gulf Fund are affecting overall year-to-date numbers with $499,096 budgeted year-to-date, but only $282,876 spent year-to-date, contributing to a variance of $216,220 in actual versus budget. That concludes my report.
I just have a question for Brad.
Sure.
If you look at page 6, Brad, underneath Rainbow Falls, and maybe you automatically know the answer, but if you don't, just get back to me at the next meeting, but, you know, historically, you look at September, underneath operating expenses, $130,000 in September against very low revenue. Same thing happened, you're overspending over $100,000 in 2023, 2020. So the biggest month we take like a net hit is every year is 80 to 100,000. We're closing on Labor Day. So is it because of double payroll when you have no revenue coming in? What creates this big loss of $100,000 in September every year?
I would say the majority of it is two things: delay in payroll, so we're on a delay. So that payroll, even though they work the majority of it in August on those weekends, is getting paid in September. And then the other is probably the water bill from August is getting paid in September by the time we get the bills, and that's a pretty substantial water bill for August at Rainbow Falls. So that's probably the majority of those expenses.
Okay.
So that's what.
It just stood out.
And then, yeah, the revenue, like you said, I think we were only open, 2 days this year in September, so, I mean, still.
Yeah, you can see the revenue
Pretty
from last year.
significant
Ben
revenue,
knows
yeah.
we had 3 straight 90-degree days,
Correct.
Labor Day weekend, where that minimized your loss that year.
Yeah.
And then the only other question I have, I still don't think I understand. When you look at the recreation programs for the programs, baseball, basketball, softball, when they're year-to-date in a net loss, you know, they're in deficit spending. When a bill comes in, how do we pay that? Are we floating them the money? We go back and ask them for the money? Because 2 or 3 of the programs have deficit spending, so I don't quite understand how we pay the bills when it's supposed to be coming from them.
So, it's just like any other park program, the timing of the bills and how they hit. Back when they were associations, yes, we made sure that they had money to cover the bills before the money was going out. But we also recognized the revenue differently. We recognized all our revenue on an accrual basis. When they were outside of us or associations, we would recognize it as soon as they were received. So a lot of times that's why they have the registration dates still earlier, because they're so used to buying that money so then they can spend it. And I keep telling them, like, we don't need you guys to have that registration. We're gonna recognize your money from day 1 of the program to the last day of the program. So it gets spread out that way. So that's a lot of why, you know, they're spending. Football, for example, their season starts in August and then runs through, you know, end of November. So it depends on how it's set up in our recreation software. All that money gets spread out over that 100-day period, where even though we've received the money for it, it doesn't show up on our books that way.
But there's been a couple instances where all the revenue's been collected for a season, say, and it didn't quite meet the expenses. What are we doing? Are we floating the money, or do we ask them that you went into deficit spending, you need to overcharge your program $3,000 to $4,000 to pay the park district back, or are we eating it?
So as far as I know, for the term, they've never been, they all have fund balances that they operate, and they've never, even though they might dip into the negative for a little while, they've always had funds to cover all of their expenses.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
Okay, committee of the whole, that is me. We didn't have a meeting scheduled meeting. Today we talked about, Tom mentioned that was a couple-hour discussion about next year's capitals, which we do every year around this time. We talked about a CAP agreement for easement. We got back to Brad on audit services. We gave him direction on which way to go on that. And the bond advisors was the same way. I think that's it.
Tax levy,
Oh, the tax levy. We did talk about the tax
and
levy.
the camera system at Rainbow.
Camera system at Rainbow. Oh, that was all new business that I don't have written down.
Sorry.
No, that's all right. Athletic Committee, Commissioner Carlson.
Okay, the only thing I have to report is last Sunday, most of our football teams got to scrimmage at Soldier Field, which was pretty cool. It was a fundraiser, I forget who it was for, but I think all the kids had a lot of fun playing at Soldier Field, so that's it.
Okay. Golf Course Committee, Commissioner O'Malley.
No report.
Youth Committee, Commissioner Biedke.
No report?
Adult Committee Center, Commissioner Cook.
Yes, I attended the Adult Advisory Board meeting of October 15th, and they're as busy as ever there. They had an open house and added 18 additional new people so bring their total membership to 340 members now, which is the highest it's been in a while, so they're doing very well over there. Some of the trips they got planned coming up, Naperville Halloween Light Trip, October 29th. Senior Olympics is October 30th. There's a White Christmas at Lincolnshire, November 6th. A Branson Show Trip, November 11th. And New York Party date change to January 8th. And they voted in a new treasurer, Mark Marino, to be the treasurer position at the Sheila Ray Adult Center. That ends my report.
All right.
Lot going on.
Pavilion Committee, Commissioner O'Malley.
Okay, 4 of us met on October 2nd. We met for a solid hour. In attendance were Commissioner Cook and myself. Light on staff, just Tiffany Green and Doug. The first thing we talked about was capital projects that needed to be completed this year, what's on the agenda. So this year, we still need the bleachers. This is as of October 2nd. We're still waiting for the bleachers at the gym. Jumps and Jiggles renovation will be rescheduled for 2026. In 2025, the chairs of the Garden Terrace will be replaced, the Pavilion Field House will be painted, and carting machines and dumbbells will be purchased for this fitness center. Based on tonight, Tom Cook getting some additional information. Pavilion and aquatic staff are encouraged to come up with ways to attract more people to the pool, including the use of capitals to increase amenities. I alone suggested, so people can get mad at me, I suggested increasing the membership pricing, including the cost for additional family members to Tiffany. I believe Tom was in agreement. It's something we'll talk about at budget season as they gather some more information. Superintendent Cedar discussed the dance program, potentially replacing the dance studio audio equipment in 2025, and he gave us an update on the movies at the park, which is a success at the South Pavilion lot. Security staff and budgets were also discussed with the potential for adding security at Rainbow Falls and a dedicated park security position. Commissioner Cook spoke about the fitness center staff enforcing the rules, making sure that staff regularly walks the area and calls security when necessary. Director Green noted that staff conduct walkthroughs every 30 minutes. We also requested that staff make a more frequent visit into the men's locker room where we do seem to have an abuse on telephones. So she was taking care of that. Commissioner Cook suggested signage stating that the chairs in the renovation room do have Bluetooth capabilities. And then we also noted that we need a little additional security as some people are finding ways into the rejuvenation room when they shouldn't have access. And then with the discussion between the commissioners and staff, we talked about keeping Pirates Cove open for weekends all the way through October. And that's everything we had. That concludes my report.
Okay, I just have an observation that I think the public should hear again is committees are committees. They can't take action, they can't direct staff. They can suggest stuff, they can talk about stuff, but it eventually has to come back to the entire board for a vote. And I just want people to understand that, because what we don't want to portray is if I'm on the finance committee, I can't direct Brad or anybody in the staff to do anything. We could talk, we can converse, and what we come out of that meeting will eventually come to the board. Just trying to clear that up, so. Items for information, leisure services updates, Tiffany Green.
Awesome. So, Tom already talked a lot about Sheila Ray Adult Center, so the only thing I'll mention is last month they had their big 90th birthday celebration. And really cool is we had over 25 members celebrating a 90-plus birthday that were in attendance. And aquatics, lessons were doing really well this past month. They were at 319 total swim lesson participants compared to 241 last year. Aqua Wellness doing equally as well with 1,126 participants for the month compared to 1,033 last year. Adult sports, all of the adult softball has wrapped up for the season, and pickleball is also coming to an end. Our Bags League is going strong over at Fox Run. We have 31 teams in the competitive division and 15 in the recreational division. Youth athletics, so we have 75 in fall karate and 14 in volleyball clinics. And then all of our outdoor classes are either coming to an end within the next couple of weeks or have already ended. The one sport that will continue on through mid-November is going to be cheer. They made it to the state finals, which is November 14th through the 17th this year. For cultural arts, we have 26 students working to select their winner music recital pieces, and coming up soon we have our production of Elf Jr., November 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, and tickets go on sale on Monday, October 28th. Dance is going really well. The dance numbers are up across the board compared to last year's numbers. We have 56 company dancers, 285 recital dancers, 33 solos and duets, and 12 in baton. Early childhood, they actually just held a curriculum night the other night. It was a huge success. Thanks to marketing for also having a table there and promoting some of our upcoming events. And they currently have 167 total students enrolled in daily programming there. Our group fitness numbers did well for the month of September, slightly down from last year, but still at 1,550 participants for the month. 146 personal training sessions and 346 open gym drop-ins. The rejuvenation area had a great amount of visits last month. They had 1,414 total. The museum held its annual Pioneer Day on September 14th. They had over 100 visitors that day. Well, almost 100 visitors that day, which is a 67% increase from the year prior. Rentals doing really well in September. We had 113 total rentals for the month compared to only 78 last year. And just wanted to point out that out of those gym rentals, 28 of those gym rentals were Catch Corner rentals, which is the company we've been working with and piloting this past year. And it's going really well for us. So we're looking to continue that relationship into next year. For our Kids Club, we had 1,881 registrations for the month. And then upcoming events, I hope everyone's aware, but we have Halloween Fest tomorrow. And then we have H2O on the 27th from 11 to 1 at Pavilion and Flag Center. And we actually are still selling Halloween Fest tickets up until the event tomorrow starts. So, and that's it.
Thank you very much. Parks and Planning update, Mark.
The resurfacing of the leisure pool is just about complete as of yesterday. I think they got the final coat on. It was sandblasted, re-caulked, and skim coated. It looks great. I really like the idea that we did it in the fall because that really gave them time to get it done without rushing into the spring with that Memorial Day deadline. The Clark Park Playground was opened up yesterday. It looks fantastic. The guys did a great job. That was one of the parks that we did completed in-house. The dugout covers at Appleseed, Clark, Osborne are completed. We're still waiting for some of the covers, the covering panels at the field at Heffern, but that should be soon. The Colony Park Wetland Mitigation Project has successfully been completed. It started out in 2018. And as of this year, we got the letter from the Army Corps of Engineer that said that all the conditions of the permit was completed. So I wanted to say great job to our staff, horticulture crew leader. Gina did a great job holding the contractors accountable, and that area looks great. And then the last thing I have here is resident Andrew Nordstrom approached me about completing an Eagle Scout project. His project includes the installation of little libraries throughout the parks. He's chosen Appleseed, JC, Fairchild, and Marshall to do this. He's currently looking at the specific locations for where each library will be. He's going to get back to me, and then we're just kind of working through the details on that.
Very good. Business services update, Brad Scholes.
This weekend, Superintendent's Revenge, it's the hardest test in golf. 11 a.m. shotguns, 4-person scramble. I think they're still taking spots. Turkey shoot fills up fast. It is already sold out, so sorry, but it is on November 9th. Simulator Week information is available. We're doing a month-long simulator event that's going to be scheduled for December. We're replacing the carpet on all the simulators next week, so they will be closed. Upcoming music, we have Rob Post scheduled for December 23rd, the eve of the eve. Doing pianos on January 25th, and the November one had to get rescheduled. That is getting worked out. And we have a permit for the driving range now, so that work should hopefully start. We're having a meeting tomorrow and start shortly.
Thank you very much. Marketing communications update, Kelly.
Okay. Let's see here. So in September, on September 21st, we had the hometown parade. And so the Park District had 3 entries. We had the Sheila Ray Adult Center van. We also had the Pavilion Dance members, and we had a great float that we made for the preschool teachers. So on the front of your report is one of the pictures of the preschool teachers. It was a hot day, but it was really well received, and we had some of the seniors in the golf cart, and they really enjoyed it, and were able to promote the open house. Earlier that day, we did also host the Pavilion Fitness Open House, and we gave away 200 t-shirts that day, so in 3 hours. So it was very successful. We had a lot of people that were really excited about coming and taking tours and getting information and seeing new upgrades that we've done at the fitness center. So that was a busy day for the Park District that day. Then on October 4th, I know Commissioner Cook and Tiffany mentioned that we had the open house at the Sheila Ray Adult Center, and we had 53 people come through that day that were visiting and just attending the open house. And Gina said that they hadn't had that large of an attendance since probably around 2015. So there's a lot of people that are really excited about getting out. And I know Commissioner Cook said that, I think you said 15 people joined, or 18?
18, we went up 18,
18?
so maybe they weren't all
18, well,
that
13
day,
actually joined that day.
Yeah.
13 people signed up on that day. And so they're always welcoming new members, and they're offering discounts now through the end of the year if people join. So if anybody's interested in finding out information about staying active and participating in the center, that's a great thing. I wanted to mention a couple other things. In September, we also hosted at the Pavilion. We worked with the Chamber of Commerce, Greater O'Hare Association Chamber of Commerce. We had about 25 businesses there, and they hosted tables, and there was a lot of business networking going on, and it was open to the community. Anybody could come. And the theme was going for the gold, which was the Olympics theme, and we passed out Olympics mints and different things, and got some information into the people's hands about the different offerings and all the fun activities happening here at the Park District. One of the other things I wanted to point out on the front page of the report was as part of the upgrades and the new branding at the fitness center, Ashley Felton, who is our graphic designer, designed vinyl window coverings. And so the people in the offices can see through the vinyl coverings, and then it gives like a nice branding on the outside. So the one photo on the front of the report shows this spin room, this cycle studio, and one of those panels in the windows, you can see out. If you're in the cycle room, you can, or cycle studio, you can see through the vinyls. So just add some interest to the branding and some of our decor up there. And then last but not least, a big thank you to Scott at EGTV. He came over and he did an episode of In the Grove at the fitness center, and also promoted Pavilion Aquatic Center, and did a nice like on-site tape or recording of the fitness center as well as aquatics, and that is scheduled to air this month. So thank you very much for EGTV and all your help.
Very good, thank you. Pavilion, Executive Director update, Ben Curcio.
Just one big thank you to all the staff, not just in this room, maybe who are watching and maybe not watching, for all their hard work, dedication to putting the budgets together again this year in the capital projects. We start our budget season in July, mid-July, end of July, and then it's August, September. And if you don't know, we're very busy in the summer, so it takes a lot of work on their part, and I'm very excited to present the board with the final product in December. So thank you again to the staff. That's all.
Very good. Any old business to speak of?
Yeah, John, I hope that you could add this to the agenda for the next committee of the whole. Travel baseball, both some of the people, they're still looking for direction from the park district on, are they gonna get free rentals? Are they being charged for the rentals? Are we gonna let staff go ahead and stripe the fields and empty the garbage for some of their tournaments? There really hasn't been direction, even though we had a conversation on this a couple months ago. And then another topic is this MSBL that is now no longer affiliated with the park district. I know they've put in for some field requests, and in my opinion, it seems like we might be slow playing them, because the answer they're telling us that the park district is giving them is, well, we've got to see how our programming is. Well, both of you guys have been in the travel program. At some point, you have to lock up some dates. So what my fear is, the longer we tell them we don't know, they're gonna go to another town, and you're talking about $25,000 of revenue to let them rent our fields, a pure rental. So I think we need to make a decision. Are we gonna allow the dates a third party is requesting, yes or no? And more importantly, what are some of the information we're gonna give back to the travel program when it comes to what we as a park district are gonna charge them? So I'd like to continue that dialogue, because it's just gone in limbo, that's all.
Okay. I mean, I have no problems adding it to the agenda, but since you brought it up, maybe we can get an email back to the commissioners on answering those questions, and then if it needs to be on the agenda, Bill, just let me know.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So, okay, new business. Adoption of Resolution 24-06, a resolution authorizing and directing the execution and delivery of stormwater easement agreement with Itasca Fire Protection District. I need a motion and a second.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Pietki?
Yes.
President Walz?
Yes. Adoption of ordinance number 447, an ordinance authorizing and directing the sale, transfer, and conveyance of certain used personal property. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
Can you just tell us what that products are?
There's a list of products under Exhibit A, custodial equipment,
Okay.
uneven bars, wheelchair, cement mixer. So what we've done in the last couple of years, and it's been very successful, is we went to an auction site online, posted that website or posted that link on our website, so that anybody in the district has access to bid on those items.
Thank you.
I have one question. When I read that, the wheelchair, can that go to the lending tree? The lending closet that we have?
Sure.
Okay.
And yes,
Once you guys
President Wall,
approve
there's a
that.
massage table.
Okay.
All right, so I have a motion and a second.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Walls?
Yes, payment of the bills, September 2024 P cards in the amount of $195,238.03. September 27th, 2024, in the amount of $425,813.12. October 4th, 2024, in the amount of $420,124.29. October 11th, 2024, $106,505.23. And October 18th, in the amount of, October 18th, 2024, in the amount of $148,196.95. I need a motion in a second.
So, second.
Any questions or comments on those? The reason why we have so many is because we didn't have a meeting 2 weeks ago, so they kind of stack up on us. Can I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
President Walls?
Yes, our next meeting will be November 14th, 2024 at 7 PM. I move to adjourn to closed session for the purpose of discussing personnel per 2C1, in particular, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees, specific individuals who serve as independent contractors in the park, recreational, or educational setting, or specific volunteers of a public body or legal counsel for the public body, and for the purpose of discussing litigation per 2C11. I need a motion in a second.
So moved. Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Cook?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes, Francis.
Commissioner Bianchi?
Yes.
Commissioner Carlson?
Yes.
President Walls?
Yes, we are adjourned, so can we meet in the other room in like 10 minutes?
Town of Cranford, New Jersey, our local municipal channel, TV35, is a major source of hyper-local information that is specifically designed and created for our residents alone. We get to see our town meetings, concerts, high school sports, news, and more on a channel that is strictly about our community. The value of public, educational, and government stations